Welcome to this module where we will discuss if you don't know your brand, you won't know your purpose. So understanding your purpose is directly linked to understanding your brand. So one thing I would like to say is that most individuals are so worried nowadays about being a brand until I believe the aspect of understanding purpose has been negated. So let's first off deal with branding 101. So once again, what is a personal brand? A personal brand is the way one represents themselves to the world and the way the world recognizes you. A personal brand is one that has been established by ourselves as a representation of ourselves and how we present ourselves to the world. So with that said, when I think of amazing brands, especially in relates to different fields, I think of Michael Jordan, I think of Oprah Winfrey, I think of Steve Jobs, Iyanla Vanzant. All of these individuals have made their mark in the world based on who they are. But ultimately, it did take time and effort for them to first and foremost understand their purpose. So always remember that even though you are working on establishing a personal brand based on your skill set, and I think of there are, like I said, as I stated about those individuals are athletes, they are artists, they are creatives. Of course, you have corporate professionals and inventors. But at the end of the day, where does it all begin? So the key to building a personal brand is what we're going to talk about. 3 key ways to leverage your personal brand. Number 1 is integrity. So I think the key to every brand is integrity. At the end of the day, a personal brand is personal. I like to always say that. One thing about a personal brand, it's personal. And you can never separate who you are from what you do. I know most individuals, and when I think of that a lot, I think of athletes. A lot of times you have had athletes, particularly in some of the major sports here in the U.S., I've noticed some athletes decline or do not want to be considered role models. But when you have so much attention that has been given to you, there now becomes a level of responsibility. So what is integrity? Integrity is having the ability to function and do things in a way that would be considered fair and equitable, whether someone is looking or not. Doing the right thing, my own definition of integrity is because it's the right thing to do. So why is that key to your personal brand? Because people have to believe in what you do. And of course, the authenticity point comes right along with that. But integrity establishes a sense of being trustworthy. Also, having integrity in you and your abilities gives people a sense of confidence in what you can and will execute for them. So I'll even use the example. Once again, we're talking about sports. If I paid my ticket and I'm supporting the sports team, I am assuming and I'm believing that the individual that I paid to see or individuals on this team, my home team, are now going to do their best to win the game, right? That's integrity. Nothing's rigged. It's all forthcoming. Just on another note, in my business affairs, if I'm paying, just like I paid for a sports ticket, if I paid my accountant to handle my books, right? The whole idea is I have established a relationship with someone, or I'm investing my resources in someone that I feel is trustworthy. So once again, having integrity develops a level of trust with the individuals. It also develops a level of confidence, and also it creates a level of authenticity that you can count on with that individual. So when you have a personal brand, it's so important that you know yourself and you know your patterns. And of course, if there needs to be some changes, that you can change them. I do believe we all have an equal footing to continually walk in integrity. The second point I want to make is about honesty. And even with where we are right now, I know these may seem very elementary as far as topics to discuss about a personal brand, but integrity is critical, and so is honesty. Honesty is really what people want. And I will honestly say this, it's not really all about what you say, but it really is what you do, right? when we deal with individuals on a daily basis in our personal lives and our business affairs, a lot of what is accosted is how we transact with individuals is based on what we do. So it's very important that in order to leverage your personal brand, it's so important to understand the power of you, exactly who you are. So you have to ask yourself, am I good at effectively navigating proper communication with individuals? I always say, even the fact that a lot of our communication is nonverbal, right? Even there's a study, I believe it's the first 55 seconds that you come into contact with anyone, it's already been decided, or you have already been sized up, for lack of a better term, as to what type of person you could potentially be. So you haven't even potentially opened your mouth yet to say anything. But it's so important to understand that, once again, people are always looking at what they want as far as an authentic relationship, whether it be business or professional. And specifically, how you are representing yourselves always is representing your personal brand. So as I said it before, and I'll just read the stats. Actually, it only takes 7 seconds to make a first impression, according to statistics. And it says 55% of that is actually communication, and it's based on how you look and act. And 38% of that is based on the sound and tone of your voice. So even myself, over time, I've had to learn, Felicia, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's not the assumption that I'm saying it in the way that it's being received in the way I want to communicate it. So I have to go the extra mile in most cases to make sure I'm articulating it in the way, by choosing my tone, by choosing my wording, and of course, most of all, choosing your timing. All of that is critical to conveying your personal brand, okay? Also, we don't want to forget the number one thing, right, is our appearance, right? We can't remove how we carry ourselves, how we look. Unfortunately, that's just the way the society we in typically will judge us, of course, based on the type of career you have and the type of business you may run. There may be different things that are accepted in different circles, but for the most part, I would recommend always putting your best foot forward regardless of what the field is. Not to say that you need approval, but I would say that just keep in mind, people are always watching, and it does make a difference as you navigate through society. So the third item I want to talk about, or third pillar, would be responsibility. So we want to own our actions as individuals, and owning our actions parlay into owning not just our personal actions in our personal lives. Our actions also must be owned in our professional lives or as entrepreneurs as well. So I would like to stop here and say that it's critical that we live in urgency, that we live in the moment, and that we live in purpose. Those are the 3 things we have to do to change the way we think. I'll repeat that. If we learn to live in urgency, live in the moment, and live in purpose, that will actually change the way we think. So what do I mean by live in urgency? I mean, you have to treat life and your brand and the things that you're doing as valuable, right? No one is going to treat what you're doing with, or give value to what you're doing, any more than you will. So you have to live in a way and go about your affairs, even as you develop your personal brand, in a way that you understand that you're making an impact in the world. Live in the moment. A lot of times, even myself, I've had to stop and think. It's not always about what's in front of me, and clearly I can't change what's behind me. So what can I do to live in this moment and acknowledge the work that's happening? So we have to understand, even in every moment, like even in this moment right now, I'm doing some work. Even in this moment right now, I'm here being recorded professionally, right? Because someone is doing their work in the moment. Because why? We are here to do the things that we authentically feel will make a difference, regardless of what angle that is, right? And that's a part of our purpose, right? That's a part of our personal purpose DNA.